Coming up on The Rocks, we have your SGA election special.
We'll be interviewing the candidates live.
And asking the questions that you want the answers to. All this and more coming right up on The Rocks. Welcome back to On the Rocks. I'm Mac Bell.
And I'm Madison Williams. Today, in collaboration with SGA and The Rocket, we'll be bringing you the SGA election special.
Now, here's how things are going to work. All 11 of the SGA Executive Board members will be interviewed by Madison and I right here live. Along with your help and The Rocket, we have made questions for the candidates. There will be 2 general questions and 2 role-specific questions.
Each nominee will have 15 seconds to introduce themselves. Responses are limited to 60 seconds. You'll get a warning at 20 seconds, 10 seconds, and the final wrap-up via the chat. Then, after all the questions have been asked, you'll be given 30 seconds to say any closing remarks. If you, the viewer, have any questions, please put them in the YouTube chat. How about we get started and bring everyone in via Zoom?
Now, let us all bear in mind that we're going to be doing these interviews on Zoom, so the quality might be poor at times. And due to time constraints, we'll be starting with the VP of Student and Academic Affairs position. First, we have Caleb Covey. Then, we have Gabriel Stiles, and then it will be Grant Warbian. Starting with Caleb, please answer the following question. Why did you apply for your specific position?
I applied for the Student and Academic Affairs position because I really liked the committee this year, and I really wanted to continue the work that we did within the committee. And I just also really wanted to work on the student life survey and be able to send that out to students and work on getting the initiatives that they send back, and just working on getting the advice back from students.
All right, thank you very much, Caleb. And then we're going to go over to Gabriel Stiles. Gabe, why did you apply for your specific position?
So similar to Caleb, I really enjoyed everything we did in the committee this year. I was part of the co-chair of academics, so I interacted with a lot of faculty. I went to an abscess meeting, and overall, I really just want to push further what we've done this year in terms of interacting students and faculty together, because I feel like with the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a lot of lost communication between students and professors and even higher ups. So I just had to run for Ivor and see what I can do.
Absolutely, thank you very much. And then Grant Warbian, why did you apply for your specific position?
So I think I applied for this position because this is a long-term goal for me. Since my freshman year, I've wanted to work in student affairs with higher education. And this student and academic affairs position, I got to serve on the executive board this past year as parliamentarian. And this position of student and academic affairs just seemed like the next step to further myself and to be a better advocate for the students on this campus.
Awesome, great answer. Thank you very much. And then we're going to go to our second question. We're going to go back to Caleb. With the recent announcement from the university of more in-person classes, how will you make the transition from online to in-person duties in your specific position?
So for me, I would have in-person meetings for committee members that want to have in-person meetings. And if they don't, I would also have a Zoom up in case they wanted to log on Zoom. And then, for events and stuff, like with Bob's Cupboard and stuff, I would hopefully be able to host more events within Bob's and just kind of do all that. And, hopefully with being on campus again, we can promote the student life survey on campus rather than just emailing and social media. So I think that's kind of how I would transition from online to in person.
All right, thank you very much. And then we're going to go to We're going to go to Gabriel Stiles then with the same question. With the recent announcement from the University of more in-person classes, how will you make the transition from online to in-person duties in your specific position?
So I really want to work with outreach committee a lot and kind of get students more involved again. I think over the past year it was really tough. Everyone kind of being stuck at home. Even if you came to campus, I lived on campus this year. You're really stuck in your dorm. So with the increase of in-person events, definitely help not just my committee get out there, but help advertise. And then also try to get faculty, like I said before, get faculty to interact with the students. Because there was a lot of miscommunication this year that overall I think can really be, that can really help be redone. I also want to help bring back in-person meetings with SAA. I know over through Zoom, it can be a little tough. I myself had a lot of Zoom issues over the course of this year. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you very much. And then we're going to go to Grant Warbine again. Same question. With the recent announcement from the University of more in-person classes, how will you make the transition from online to in-person duties in your specific position?
I think this year I've been blessed with being able to live in the Slippery Rock area. So most of my time I've actually been on campus and actually been able to do in-person duties, whether that's with my parliamentarian position or the current position I have on the Interfraternity Council as president. So just being able to transition, the rest of the students with meetings and stuff like that, and just creating an open and inviting environment. I think that's going to be very important coming out of this pandemic, as, a leader, to have that environment where students feel welcome, and they don't have to be worried about the pandemic nearly as much. They can just come to the Student Academic Affairs Committee meetings and just have a good time. I think that's important.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Grant. Now we're going to go on to some position-specific questions. So we're going to go back to Caleb. So here's your question. The VP of Student and Academic Affairs covers a variety of roles, including the campus food pantry, an analysis of student safety, and an annual student life survey, among other responsibilities. What project of the role are you most looking forward to addressing and why?
For me, I kind of have two. I really look forward to addressing the food pantry, which is Bob's covered, because I feel like a lot of students don't really know about Bob's yet. So I would want to try to get the word out there more and try to do more events regarding Bob's. And then just the student life survey, because I was the co-chair this year for the Academic Affairs Committee. So I had a lot of fun working with VP Lindgren on the survey. So I would just like to kind of come up with questions for the survey and just analyzing the data and seeing what the students have to say about campus and just coming up with different initiatives that we can work on it to improve SRU.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Caleb. Then we're going to go to Gabriel with the same question. The VP of Student and Academic Affairs covers a variety of roles, including the campus food pantry, an analysis of student safety, and an annual student life survey, among other responsibilities. What project of the role are you most looking forward to addressing and why?
So there's a couple that I'm really looking forward to. In terms of the food pantry, I want to make it more available to students. And I actually attended this national conference called COSGA this year, and I heard a really good idea that other SGAs are doing, and that is, depending on how much food you donate, it will actually relieve a parking ticket. So I want to try and really interact with the campus to maybe increase food donations that way, maybe by relieving a parking ticket or any other financial burden, small financial burden. Another big thing, the biggest thing, in my opinion, is diversity. And I think that is the biggest thing for the SGA right now, and it impacts both mental health and faculty and student conversation, as I was saying. Because with the recent Zoom bombings in February, I know people who were impacted personally, and I know people who were impacted secondhand. So I really want to try and help people kind of recover from that and increase faculty awareness of that.
All right, thank you very much, Gabriel. And then we're going to go to Grant Warbine. With the same question, the VP of Student and Academic Affairs covers a variety of roles, including the campus food pantry, an analysis of student safety, and an annual student life survey, among other responsibilities. What project of the role are you most looking forward to addressing, and why?
The easiest answer for me to say is the student life survey. Student life survey, you know, getting that actually out to a majority of the student body rather than just 400 students. And it just builds on the rest of things. More responses on the student life survey is going to be able to give you more knowledge on how many people are actually having food insecurities, how much time and effort can I put towards body cover. And same thing with student safety. How many students are feeling safe on campus, whether that's with the Zoom bombings or if that's with mental health. You know, and they all play hand in hand together. So I think the biggest project I'm excited for is definitely the student life survey and expanding it to where more of the student body gets represented.
Awesome, thank you very much. We're going to go back to Caleb again with another question. Now, part of your responsibilities in serving as VP of Student and Academic Affairs is managing the campus food pantry. What steps will you take to maintain the food pantry and increase accessibility for students?
So I would have meetings with the Bonner leaders and the people in charge of Bob's Cupboard constantly to kind of see what's going on, what we need. Then I would kind of bring that back to my committee and tell my committee what we need at the pantry and what we don't. And then as far as like reaching students, I would, you know, like I said before, host events. So one event that I had in mind that my one friend came up with was a Bob's Cupboard bingo where students would, you know, pay a certain amount of money and then that money would go straight to Bob's Cupboard and they can get like a prize or something out of it. And then I really like that we did the food drive. I think the food drive was a really good opportunity for students to learn more about Bob's this year. So, yeah.
Awesome, thank you very much, Caleb. Now, Gabe, same question to you. Part of your responsibilities in serving for the VP of Student and Academic Affairs is managing the campus food pantry, but what steps do you want to take to maintain the food pantry and to increase accessibility for its students?
So they can dedicate their time to the food pantry. Also, kind of like I said in the beginning, was I want to work with outreach. I really want to work closely with outreach so that way we can reach students, that way they know about it, as well as the whole bring food in, relieve a parking ticket. The more food we bring in, the more students are aware of it, whether they may need it in the future and don't need it now, or need it now and won't need it in the future. I really just want to get it out there so that way all students know about it, even if they don't need it.
Awesome, thank you very much, Gabriel. And then we're going to go back to you, Grant. What steps will you take to maintain the food pantry and to increase accessibility to students?
So I think the first thing I would do is have a co-chair for the Bob's Cupboard, and then have bi-weekly meetings with the leadership team at Bob's Cupboard, just to get updates and stuff like that. And I think with my role as being interfraternity council president as well, I have the connection of fraternities and sororities that are looking for community service events and food and the opportunity to do food drives and stuff like that. So I think I have connections in high places where, you know, we can get more involvement to that, you know, 6% of campus that, you know, they're looking for something to do right now, just to get students involved, and then we'll just build off of that.
All right, thank you very much, Grant. So now you will each have 30 seconds for any closing statements that you would like to take. We will go and start with Caleb for that.
Just want to, I guess, just thank you for having us here. And then, you know, with my involvement in the committee and everything, I just hope that, you know, the student body sees that I can be a good fit for the Vice President of Student and Academic Affairs.
All right, thank you very much, Caleb. Now we're going to go to Gabe with the same question. You'll have 30 seconds for any closing statements that you would like to give.
I would also like to just thank everyone for having us here. I really appreciate the opportunity. I've had so much fun doing SGA this year. I never thought that I would even come to love it and like it, but here I am, I'm running for VP. So I really hope you like what I had to say, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you very much, Gabe. And then we're going to go to Grant Warbine. You now have 30 seconds for a closing statement. Anything that you would like to add?
I would just like to thank everyone for being on this call and for the questions that were provided to us today. And to see that, as an established leader on this campus, that I can continue the growth that students are looking for through this position of VP of Student and Academic Affairs. So thank you once again.
All right, thank you all very much. Those are your nominees for VP of Student and Academic Affairs.
Now we hear from Mia Graziani, who is running for SGA President. Let's move right into the general questions. Mia, why did you apply for your specific position?
So this will be year number 3 that I've been in SRSGA. I started as a freshman senator. I remember getting the info packet from Liz Hernandez, who was one of our past Student and Academic Affairs VPs during my freshman year orientation. So I knew as soon as I came into Slippery Rock that this is what I wanted to do. I was able to grow in my freshman senator position, and then as a sophomore, I ran for Vice President of Internal Affairs, and then last year I was lucky enough to have the same position again. So I was able to translate, doing things in person, kind of having that normal year, and then also having a virtual year under my belt. So I just kind of figured that going for president would be the next step in that leadership staircase on your way up.
Yeah, that's a great answer. With the recent announcement from the university of more in-person classes, how will you make the transition from online to in-person duties in your specific position's role?
Like I mentioned before, I was lucky enough to have my internal affairs committee head, being one of the vice presidents. I was able to have that ability to do everything in person. So I definitely want to transition as much as we can and as safely as we can back into being in person. Lauren Moran, who's one of our advisors, I've already been in contact with her, and we plan on trying to integrate back into having in-person formal and informal meetings. We've already started to schedule some of the larger, some of the biggest halls that we have here at Slippery Rock, especially in ATS and things like that, so that we can have our Senate back together as a whole, and then also allow the community to come in and interact with us face to face.
Nice. Bouncing off the last question and getting a little bit more specific, after serving 2 terms as VP of Internal Affairs, one of your primary responsibilities was to bring your fellow senators together so that they can best serve the students of SRU. What did you learn from your experience this year that you would bring into your next year as the potential president?
So I definitely realized that you kind of have to work with, the people who you have, and realize that some people are going to give this club and organization 100% of their effort, while sometimes this is just a little additive to their involvement here at Slippery Rock, and that's completely fine, and that's what we want to welcome. So I just know that if you have a strong connection, you're going to be able to go a lot further in your initiatives, through your motions and things like that. If you have people who have strong connections with their committees, who have strong connections with other senators, that's what's going to be able to make those motions and these initiatives actually be seen through, and actually be able to view progress and be able to say, look at what we did this year. So I think being able to create a stronger bond, through these in-person activities and in-person meetings will definitely help the productivity of SRSGA this year.
And one final specific question. The responsibilities of the president include meeting with various SRU administrative officials, keeping them aware of what SGA is working toward, and working with administration to meet those goals. What goals do you have for SGA that you would like to get administration on board for?
So I definitely want to create a little bit smoother conversation, kind of how Gabe had said, sometimes there's this communication breakdown just in between us and higher ed. President Barry, Dr. Zink, we do have good communications. I mean, I speak with Dr. Wilmus at least once a month for my monthly cabinet counterpart meetings. So I think just being able to share, what we've started this year so far, especially with our diversity initiatives, I definitely just want to continue to fine tune and continue out the progress that we're already making. I don't think that we have to go to the whiteboard and start all over again. I think that this is the year to, we had a great starting block in 2020, 2021, so why not finish that through 2021, 2022?
Absolutely. Now you have 30 seconds to close with your final remarks and anything you want to add. You'll have 30 seconds to add anything that you'd like. Closing remarks, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming today. I understand that sometimes SRSGA isn't the most exciting thing here at Slippery Rock, but definitely being able to get our voices out there and share what we do with the rest of the community is a great experience. So I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take it back to Mac now.
Now, next we will have the nominees for the VP of Finance. Now, these are going to be Dean Chasser and Morgan Tupper. Now, due to a prior engagement that we were just informed of moments ago, Dean will be unable to attend. So we will only be asking Morgan Tupper questions today. Morgan, are you there? Never mind. We are just informed that Morgan Tupper will also not be able to be on today. Okay. So instead, we're, man.
Go to the next one. Internal affairs.
Oh, there is the next one.
Wait, I want you to switch to Madison. Go to Madison, internal affairs.
All right. Since those two were not able to attend today, we're going to skip to the next group of questions. Next up is the VP of Internal Affairs. And in these positions, we'll hear from Elizabeth Hood. Taryn was unable to attend today, so we're going to get right into it. Elizabeth, are you there?
Hi, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Liz, to start off, why did you apply for this specific position?
Well, this year I was lucky enough to work alongside VP Graziani this year, and throughout this year, she showed me what it's like to be the Vice President of Internal Affairs. And honestly, I fell in love with the position. I love working with people, and I'm used to working with the team, so I feel like it's a perfect fit for me.
Thank you. With the recent announcement from the university of more in-person classes next semester, how will you make the transition from online to in-person duties in your specific position?
In my specific position, I will try my best to integrate in-person meetings, obviously with following CDC guidelines, with being social distance, wearing masks, sanitizing down tables if we meet. Also, if people don't feel comfortable coming to meetings, I will also have a Zoom set up as well, just in case they don't feel comfortable coming to the meetings.
Absolutely. Now getting into some specific questions. This past year, SGA and other SRU students have relied on Zoom and other online communication services to get business done. How do you plan to make a productive Senate environment as some SGA members return to campus and meet, and other counterparts for the first time in person?
As soon as I get to meet with my committee,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And VP
VP
Graziani has held the position of VP Internal Affairs for 2 years now. What did you like the best about her approach to the position, and what new ideas do you want to bring to the table in your own style of this position?
Well, since I got to work alongside VP Graziani this year, I kind of threw in a couple ideas with her, and since she will be president this year, I hope that I will be able to run some ideas along her and put my own twist on them, and hopefully I can live up to how well she fulfilled the position for the past 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for those responses. And now, since it's only you can go ahead, use the last 30 seconds to just wrap up. Any final statements?
I just want to thank everyone for being here today. I really appreciate it, and I really hope you guys vote for me. Thank you, and go Rock.
All right, there you have it, everyone. Elizabeth Hood was the only person that could attend today. Taryn was unable to attend. But these are your candidates for the VP of Internal Affairs, and we're going to bring it back to Mac now.
Alrighty, thanks Madison. Now let's look at the VP of Campus Outreach position. Aiden Donnelly is the only candidate for this position as well. Now Aiden, if you wouldn't mind just giving a brief introduction to the viewers, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Aiden Donnelly. I'm a sophomore marketing major, and I'm a transfer student, so this is my first real semester at Slippery Rock.
Awesome, thank you very much Aiden. So let's just get to the questions. Why did you apply for this specific position?
Coming into Slippery Rock, I wanted to get involved on campus. So I joined student government, and the first committee that I saw and found interesting was outreach. So working through outreach this semester really opened my eyes to social media marketing and getting flyers and advertisements out. And I think that's what I ultimately want to do for my career. So I thought running for this would help me gain knowledgeable experience.
Awesome, thank you very much. And then the next question for you, with the recent announcement from the university of more in-person classes, how will you make the transition from online to in-person duties in your specific position?
My original plan is to have my committee members choose whether they want to meet in person or if they want to meet online. With outreach, it's mostly online, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that. So I think online meetings would also be very beneficial. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks Aiden. Now on to the outreach specific questions though. Over the past year, students had to rely on social media and digital communication to know about SGA events and policy. How do you plan to use online communication to maximize SGA transparency?
I'm gonna try and post more interactions between students more frequently. I think doing polls on the story and really getting personal questions and answering them on the story either weekly or bi-weekly would be great to help really hear what the student body needs to hear and wants to ask. I also think that posting regular flyers for events would also help gain traction for events on campus. So those are my two main ideas.
Awesome, great ideas. Now, due to the pandemic, many freshmen and transfer students have missed a year on campus. What are your plans for bringing those students back into the fold and getting them involved with SGA and other student activities?
Being a transfer student myself, I think this is the perfect position for me. I can really tell my story to other transfer students and show them how to get involved, where they can go to get involved, and a bunch of other stuff like that. For freshman students, I'm also a part of the orientation team, so I can do a lot of advertising there and telling students about what goes on campus and where they can get involved as well. Hopefully they will get involved through that.
Awesome, thank you very much. Now, Aiden, I would just like to give you some time, 30 seconds for your closing remarks. You can speak now.
I just want to thank everybody for coming here. I know it's difficult to really stay focused during stuff like this, but I'm really glad that everybody was able to make it here.
And that is your candidate for VP of Outreach. Now we're going to toss it back to Madison.
Our last position is the VP of Diversity and Inclusion. We have Alexis Gish and Alexis Jones running for the position. Unfortunately, Alexis Jones could not be here for today, but was able to meet the pre-record for her answers, while still following our time restrictions. So let's get started with introductions. Gish will be first.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexis Gish. I'm a sophomore double majoring in education and nonprofit management. I have the honor as serving as the sitting VPDI, and I'm elated to be able to run again.
Hi, my name is Alexis Jones, and I am currently a sophomore public health major, and I am running for Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, as well as Senate for the College of Health, Engineering, and Science.
All right, now on to the questions. Alexis, why did you apply for your specific position?
So I am the current VPDI for the SRSGA, and I reapplied for re-election because this is the work that I truly love doing. Diversity and inclusion is such a passion of mine, and social justice and advocacy is something that I find myself doing all the time. So when I was able to take on a leadership position and really excel at it and have a seat at a table for more involved conversations, I found that it was really fulfilling to me to be able to serve campus in this way.
In regards to the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, I grew up going to a charter school. I was always exposed to different kinds of people. I never really had the chance to form, out-group prejudice. I was always just kind of accepting others as unique. And I truly do believe that diversity is the power and presence of differences among a community. And I want to be able to give those minority representations, give the people the spaces that they need to talk about their experiences and share the issues that they want to shed light on. I just feel like we should have more platforms for our minority students to speak up, not even just in regards to things that they might not have, but things that they do have that they want to share with other members of our community.
All right, and now back to question number 2. With the recent announcement from the university of more in-person classes, how will you make the transition from online to in-person duties in your specific role? Alexis Gish, you're up first.
Being online this year has definitely been not the typical leadership experience that I thought I would have, which is another reason why I was excited to kind of run for re-election and get a chance at being in person and leading. But with coming back to in-campus, I think I'm most excited to be able to attend events safely, collaborate with organizations safely, and really promote advocacy while still being in a pandemic-safe world.
I do want to be able to have more in-person opportunities for the community to be able to share experiences and whatnot, but I do understand there will be some limitations. I think that it would be beneficial to even have online. I think it would be beneficial even if we had online safe spaces and platforms, events for people to share things. And it's just all about the creation of having these platforms for people to share.
And now some diversity and inclusion questions. This year, the VP of Diversity and Inclusion position was confirmed to be the SGA's representative on the campus inclusion response team, serving as a student liaison to an important group that takes action when incidents related to bigotry, harassment, or intimidation are initiated or directed at people who are part of the campus community. How do you see this role continuing to grow as the position's duties extend beyond SGA policies and the committees? Alexis Gish, you're up first.
Being the first student representative on CERT was certainly an interesting experience, especially due to the fact that we had to jump in straight away to work before we even got to kind of facilitate an introductory meeting or anything like that due to the unfortunate Zoom bombing events. I can envision the student representative role on CERT being so important for future policy changes. And like you said, evolving outside of things that happen with SRU, making an impact on the overall community, and again, giving a student a chance to have a seat at those higher up conversations and really provide the inside look and the perspective that we have.
I feel like this isn't just a role that stays centered towards campus or your job stops at campus. It reaches out farther than that. We aren't just the only place that will have minority representatives. It's not just representing the minorities here, but you're doing it for everybody that could possibly see you speak or hear your platform. It's really just about trying to stop the prejudices and making sure everybody feels safe and included here during their time at Slippery Rock. And my role wouldn't just stop at making sure my students feel safe. It's the faculty that feels safe. And I want to make sure people feel comfortable at all times, no matter where they are. My role wouldn't just stop here.
All right. And Alexis, what are the actions that you plan to discuss or to carry out upon a return in the fall semester to make sure that students of all identities and backgrounds have equal access to SGA services, information, and events?
Accessibility is a huge platform that I've kind of prided myself on promoting within Student Government Association. And I think a return in the fall would definitely mean reevaluating initiatives we already have in progress, whether that means extending them and being able to reevaluate how they are accessible and what it looks like no matter where a student is at in their journey and making sure they have access to it. Or whether it's collaborating and replanning and doing research on how things can be better manufactured to serve our student body.
I would really love to see the Office of Inclusive Excellence expand to be able to cover a wider range of minority students. I know that we have actions taking place for certain racial minorities. I know there is stuff for American Sign Language, for Pride, for women. I would love to see if we could expand it more towards other people with disabilities, maybe even a neurodivergent section, that we can help people feel more included in the fall and get more people active and see that the Office of Inclusive Excellence will be a safe space for everybody. It's not just something for if you're a racial minority, if you represent somebody in the LGBTQ plus community. It's truly about making sure everybody feels included and part of the community. So I really think having the Office of Inclusive Excellence expand the realm would be a great start.
All right, thank you. Now you can give your closing remarks, Alexis Gish.
I, like the rest of my fellow candidates, just have to thank everyone who's here, but also everyone who's not here, the SRU campus community at large. Serving in this role has really been one of my highest honors, and it has opened so many doors and opportunities for me, personal growth and in my academic journey. And I'm just very excited and blessed to be able to run again for Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion.
Yeah, I will talk about the College of Health Engineering and Science for this part.
Yep.
Our goal is to make sure our students are succeeding both personally and academically. It's our job to be able to provide those resources to make sure our students are able to achieve in life. And it stems far beyond what they do after Slippery Rock. We want to make sure they're prepared with the right necessities and the right tools to go out into their fields and do well. And I would make it my top priority to make sure our students do have the access to the right resources so you can see them succeed.
All right, I want to thank you both for your time and for some really great answers today.
I mean, I know that I'm all out of questions, so I think we got a really good look at the SGA e-board candidates for next year, or at least the ones that were able to show up.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. Make sure to vote next week for who you want to represent your SGA next year.
And until next time, stay blessed, stay safe, and good night.